My name is Tony A with YORUBADE. You are watching YORUBADE TV, the only place on YouTube for intelligent West Africans to talk and strategize about tangible solutions to our many problems back home. If you're not intelligent and from the land of Kush, you may want to leave because this is not the space for you. To my newcomers, I definitely appreciate you coming on my channel. I recommend that you check out my other videos on this channel so that you can, possibly find a video that can help you out and add some value to your life. For my repeat viewers, subscribers, your loyalty is very much cherished. So, one request that I got from one of my subscribers is to briefly talk about just current events that's going on in West Africa. So, funny enough, it's election season. You already know that Biden pretty much won, but at the same time, there's five elections, I think, or four elections going on in West Africa right now. Two of them already happened, and three is on the way. So I'm just gonna talk about what's going on, and then I'm gonna tie it back to um, where just with elections where we fit in the whole scope. Like what can we do to help ourselves? We don't like the position that we're in as far as like back home, and even here there's a lot of nervousness in the air. So I'm just trying to focus it on our community, because no one else is doing it, so I'm gonna do it, and we can go from there. So I'm going to show you. So the first election that I got going on, it already happened, but it's Ivory Coast. And give me a second. I'll put this on there for you. So with Ivory Coast, they already did the election. It was October 31st. The guy that won is 78 years old, and the issue that's going on is this person right here. The president. Let me get his name. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, so this guy ran for presidency, and he was contesting the president that's already in there. Yeah, Atoro. There you go, for re-election. Now this guy already did 2 years or two terms, and he was seeking a third. It's a mess. What they was trying to do for him to rerun. Uh, the biggest thing, they did some type of amendment to the Constitution. And you see right here, new Constitution stated, and he restarted everything so that he can get another term. Now we know it's all messed up, it's jacked up, and this is what's going on. So uh, you already have people being killed in the clashes. I don't know why every time there's an election in a lot of these African nations, it's always violence that erupts. So when I see what's going on here, with in America, I'm just like, okay, I've seen this before, in West Africa, and it sucks. Now here, I don't. There's no reason for it at all because as far as the election process, it's not corrupt like how it is in a lot of West African, countries. So, I don't know why they, just people acting up over here, but back home, you got situations like this where, the former president, he don't want to leave, and then it comes to the votes and how they're counted, and what's going on, is it legit, and they're stealing back. It's just so much of a mess. So that's what's going on in Ivory Coast right now. You already know that Ivory Coast had a civil war in 2010, and I mean it's so that's Ivory Coast, unfortunately. The next space that the next country that had its election. So this one was on October 18th. Same situation. Uh, the president. So the president that was rerunning, he's 82 years old, and he was going again for his third term. And of course, the opposition wasn't feeling it, and it's the same thing like Ivory Coast. People getting killed, and it's just more chaos, more mess. It doesn't help to the building of the nation. It doesn't help to the taking care of the people, and it's just unfortunate that we got to keep seeing this over and over again. the ones in power. I mean, like I really believe it should be a cutoff as far as how old you can be to be president, because the idea of having that one head is to be looking towards the future, and you don't your whole makeup, your image doesn't scream future when you're 82 years old and you haven't been improving the country. So it's just, but this is all they know. I, to a certain point, I don't, the president or the person that's playing president, I can't really, I don't, I blame them, but I don't blame them too much. That's just who they are. However they act, that's just what they do. I look at the people that follow that president. Like, I mean, the dude is 82 years old. As far as in this case, in Guinea, why are you following such an old ass president, especially when the country is not improving um, in a way that is conducive to living a healthy lifestyle, a better lifestyle, less stress, and all everything else that goes along with it. Like, but I mean, that's the situation for Guinea right now. Then you have Burkina Faso. Their election is November 22nd, so this month. And the situation that's coming up with them, as you can see, is some voters not being counted. Now, in this article, they were saying possibly up to half of the population won't be voting because they're in rural areas. They don't have a way to get to the polls, and the president that's rerunning, he's saying that they're still going to count the votes even if there's no polling available in the rural areas. So of course, you're disenfranchising people, and they don't get a chance to say what they want. And of course, what's going to happen is it's going to cause more violence, more uproar, and it's like they just all go down the same path, not thinking to themselves like, hey, if we keep having people fight us and we're not, being fair, it's just going to make it harder for us to do our job. And a lot of resources, money, is being wasted on military trying to control these crowds, especially when you don't got money like that. Hopefully it's not as crazy as some people think it's gonna be, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then the last is Ghana. So at least there's some hope with Ghana. Ghana, for the most part, is pretty peaceful, and they're trying to take measures to make sure there's no violence during election day. I don't really hear about violence coming from Ghana's elections, so that's good. But that's what we have. That's what we put in our hope onto. Um, yeah, so so those four. That's what's going on in West Africa currently as far as elections go. Just trying to make it more relatable, and hopefully, with the last two things are not as bad as you know other countries that have been. So now that we have Biden, I don't think it's official yet. Let me look real quick because I know they're still doing counting in Nevada and election results. So it's November 7th at 11:19 a.m. Yeah, it's still at the same numbers. You already know Trump was trying to stop it and all the other foolishness, but that's where we are. So we go into this election, and this election season has been really interesting. I like the fact that a lot of black people were challenging the Democrats on doing more for specifically that the black community than what they have been doing these past years. Now, I don't expect anything to change. It's probably just going to be the same thing, but that's the situation that we're in right now. And I just want to make a point that have a Democrat in presidency um, doesn't mean it's going to benefit you. Getting rid of Trump is not going to change your life much. A lot of what I see is just fear mongering, and just people unfocused on what they should be, thinking about what they should be worrying, what they should be planning for their future in order to make the future the way that they want it to be. So, what does a Biden presidency mean for us and us West Africans? Um, it's probably going to mean more taxes. When I was looking at the Biden bill and seeing everything, and it's the typical rhetoric that I will see from Democrats, which is bigger government, and bigger government requires more taxes. It needs more revenue. So there was a couple rappers that was getting caught up on the $400. If you make over $400,000, then you're gonna be taxed. I think it was like New York was like 60% or something like that. And you know, I would look in the comments of just like posts and people like, yeah, they need to pay more taxes and all that other stuff. Um, I can tell that they don't really understand how politics work because it's not just one group of people that are paying more taxes. And just keep in mind, Biden is part of that crew as well. A lot of these Democrats are part of that 1%, or they're billionaires, especially if you're running for presidency. Um, what you got to keep in mind is someone needs to hold the bag at the end of the day. If you're trying to have all these programs going on, the green program, whatever, the healthcare, everything, the money has to come from somewhere, and it's not going to come from the majority is not going to come from those people that make over 400,000. Now, why am I saying this? Well, as I said before, if you're trying to running for presidency, you need some money, billions. Now, there was an article that talked about how much money was spent on this election, and this election was the most expensive one out of them all. There's donors that are paying. Let's just say for the Democrats, there's donors that are paying for Joe Biden to get the airtime and everything else that he can get, so that he can promote his message and convince us, um, you know, to vote for him. Okay, that's cool, but where's that money coming from? So it ended up being from the Jewish community. Now the Jewish community, I think it's like 3% of the population, but the wealth that they hold is like about 1% of the total wealth, and I believe it's, or maybe it's even more. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's so disproportionate to the size of their community. Um, if their foot in the bill and the politician gets in, well, everything in politics is quid pro quo. That politician has to make good on whatever agenda that they want. So when you see Biden or see Trump or any of these politicians talking about, okay, yeah, taxes, 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 they know expect some type of trick bag in it, because how are you gonna have someone that just paid your way to college or whatever, or the presidency, and then you're gonna charge them you're gonna charge them more in order to continue your presidency. They hold a lot of power, and it's not going to work out that way. So what Biden's going to do is going to make sure that the donors that gave him money are taken care of, and once again, they're part of that group that makes over $400,000. It's going to be some loophole. There's always something, and they're going to get away with shit. And who's going to be left holding the bag is the middle class. So a lot of us, the poor, they get the benefits from all the program. The rich are already taken care of. They're doing well. The middle class, it's like, you know, that's the group that gets all the crumbs, or if anything at all. So um, it, I'm not excited either way. I didn't care for this election. I think a lot of us felt that way. A lot of people was just voting just to get Trump out. Biden's presidency, really, no one was supporting Biden. They just wanted Trump out. And it's unfortunate that in this system, after all the taxes that we pay, we are forced to pick between these two candidates, even though there's other political parties around and on the ballot. Because they don't have the same money, they don't get the same airtime. Now, one thing I recommend is they should have like a third candidate when it comes to these debates, to be fair, because just the American people I think, are just not happy with just picking between left and right. So Why did I say this? Why did I bring this up? At the end of the day, if you, everyone wants to have a great life. We want to have a great life. Um, the way to get it is really working on your own financial freedom. It's not going to be a politician that helps you. It's not going to be a charity or whatever. It at the end of the day, it falls on you to change your thinking, change your mentality, and how you just go about your finances, go about money, investing, saving, spending. Like all this stuff is important. Like if you want to um, see yourself improve over the years, you got to diversify your income. And I mean that's a good buffer from to protect you from whoever is in presidency. This whole time Trump has been in presidency, like I wasn't affected negatively. I made more money. I was investing in stocks. So if you're not invested in the stock market, definitely do that. Learn is really easy. If you get the Cash App, you can pick shares off of that. Um, I was investing in stocks and I was always learning, especially during the lockdown. I was reading a lot of books. I was trying to feed my mind with so much information that when everything calms down, really it's looking like next year, I will be in a position to um, take take on all the opportunities that come my way. I wasn't gonna sit around watching CNN, looking at death rate numbers all day and traumatize my mind, um, living in fear. I mean, I wasn't gonna do that. I mean, of course, I wasn't trying to be reckless, but I understood that while everyone is in the house, there's opportunity that is being created for others to exceed in. There's been a lot of billionaires that were created during this whole pandemic. Uh, Amazon has been doing crazy good this whole pandemic. I don't want to be part of the group that complains about the rich people getting richer or whatever. I'm tired of that mindset of being the meek and people picking on you, you're powerless. Like I'm not on that mindset. I'm for okay, what do I need to learn? All right, let me figure this out and let me work on it and let me get my results on my own. I'm not waiting for anyone else. That is the mindset that we need to have collectively if we're really trying to advance on our own without worrying about what outside forces are doing. Like yeah, you're always going to have it, but we should still be able to move in a trajectory that is predicated on having a great future for not only ourselves but our children and then our children's children. So I'll tell you a quick personal story about myself. So I work for myself. So I have my own business. I've been working for myself since 2017. And leading up to that point, I had a great entry level job right out of college and paid. I mean, it was great. Got per diem checks. I traveled a lot, and it was a good paying job. I left the country, so while I was in that job, it was my first office job. So I had like vacation time, and I'll still be getting paid on vacation. Um, I went to Brazil, Rio, for the Carnival. It was the first time I left the country. Amazing experience. Got back, and I was like, man, I got to travel again. Then I realized, like, shoot, I hope I have enough vacation time to travel. And it just, the fact that I had to think about that as a grown ass man, I had to think, oh man, I gotta see if I have enough vacation time with my boss, and then I gotta ask them if I can use my own vacation time to go somewhere. It didn't sit right with me. I didn't like the fact that as an adult I don't have control over my own life. So I didn't just complain about it. I didn't just live for the weekend or, you know, just complain. What I did was okay, I need to change something. So I start educating myself on how can I make money on my own, really without a college degree, so I can be an entrepreneur, and where are the opportunities. And when I did my due diligence, did my research, found out about the where the opportunities are at, and that's when I went ahead, took a risk, betted on myself, applied myself, went for the program, the training program, got licensed, and then ever since from then on, quit my job, started working for myself. Within a year, I was matching what I was matching at my job. And when I was first doing it, people thought I was crazy. People was just saying like, "Oh man, why are you gonna quit your job?" And in my head, I like, "No, I need that freedom," and I got it. And since then, I'm able to travel when I want to. I'm able to take vacations, whenever I want to. I don't answer to anyone, and that's the freedom that I want. And it also gives me an opportunity to invest back home. And that's what I'm leading to. When you start thinking in that, um, when you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like, I don't just say entrepreneur, but you're not boxed in your thinking, your capabilities, you're going to start to realize them. And then you're going to start realizing your interests. And if you're passionate about it, you're going to start studying those interests to find out a way that you can monetize it. So, all of us, we want to see West Africa do better. You see the elections going on. The elections are not going to help West Africa. These guys, they're too old. They're not educated. They just don't understand fundamentals of human behavior. It's obvious. Forcing yourself on people is not going to move your country forward. They don't get it. So it's on us that have some common sense to realize, look, if West Africa, if we really want to see West Africa do well, then it has to be us that actually goes out there and makes the changes that we need, that need to be done. Um, the way to go about it, I think just starting with think tanks all the way around, where we get on some type of one mindset on code of saying like, look, okay, maybe we all contribute something in a pot, and have like lawyers and like everything's legit. Maybe we can start funding operations without the government. Now, I'm sure someone was like, "Oh, the government will stop you." This is the thing. Money is power, and these government officials, a lot of them, the reason why they stay in those positions are obviously to have power and to have the money. When you're a private business, you don't have many of the constraints, many of the constraints that um, political parties have, or people that are working in the government. Like, you can go from country to country, you can set up your satellite campus, you can do whatever you want to do, and at the same time you're bringing in money. You're bringing in value. You're doing like, no one can stop you. You're not capped. These politicians, even though they're stealing a lot or whatever, they're still capped in that one country. Us, you can make money from any country. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, or if you're investing in a business, just a little, you can still keep your job, put money in the pot, or whatever, however is done, and you can still be a participant in what's going on. That allows you more freedom, and that allows you to be more creative as far as influencing the people that are there, to the point where it doesn't matter who the politician is, it doesn't matter who the president is. They can't affect you. They can't affect the people because you have it locked down. A perfect example of this is Pablo Escobar. Now, I'm sure a lot of us heard about him. He was a drug kingpin in Colombia. And what I found, so I watched the whole series Narcos about him, and what was very eye opening about him was, I mean, other than the killing, like, yeah, he was a demon, but the fact that he had so much money, he was able to control the government. He was able to control members of the army, um, court judges, customs, so he can get his planes in and out. I mean, all he had was money. He wasn't a politician. He just had money, and that's where it just hit me. It's like, okay, that's who the politicians work for. They just want money, especially over there because the bar is set so low for a lot of the citizens over there. If you come, if you come with a good company, a good job, and you give them benefits, just it doesn't have to be that much. But if you're just consistent, those people will be loyal to you. It doesn't matter. You could be creating anything, and they will be loyal to you more than the government. So when you have that type of clout, then it's like there's a lot that you can do. And that's what I'm getting at. The fact that, okay, we're in America. There's a lot of opportunities for us. We know we're gonna pay higher taxes. We can't it's very difficult to create wealth by just having a job. You need to be an investor. You need to be an investor so that you can really, take it to the next level. If we start educating ourselves on how we can make money work for us, then we can be in a better position to invest in West Africa, long term, consistently, and as a unit. And then we can start seeing some incremental change in the right way, despite who the opposition political figure is. It's possible it's happened in the past. Um, we just have to believe in it. So, and also it just stops. One thing I saw, at least in Nigeria, you had the Nigerian Trump supporters having their signs and stuff like that. I found out that it was part of the Trump campaign that paid Nigerians to do it. They paid a church. They paid a church, so the church took the money because they don't got no money, and well they do, but they like to keep it for themselves. And the Trump people, they pay for the signs and everything, and that's what it was doing. If we're there, if things are progressing, those people don't have to take, they don't have to play around with the devil because we're there. We give them options, and that's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about having more options so that you don't have to compromise on your values. So that's all I gotta say about that. That's what I want to bring up, at least the election season. If there's any topics that you want me to speak on, then please engage below. One thing I'm big advocate for is reading. Reading culture is very very poor in Nigeria and a lot of West, really a lot of African nations. We're not reading enough. We're not reading the right stuff. Um, as as adults, it's time where you should be reading nonfiction books continuously, at least 10 minutes a day. It does so much to your mind, to your spirit. Always learning is the goal. Yeah, we have busy days. A lot of us work, and we go through. We feel like we don't have time, but even when we're on social media, we're reading, we're spending time on social media. Read something that can help your life, give you some skills or something to make you a better person, whether it be business wise or personal wise, relationships. Like, keep reading so that you can be a better version of yourself in the next month. Or when you have your birthdays, you can look back and see how much you've improved over the year. Like, read, I promise you, it will definitely change your life if you do it. Um, that's all I got for you. Be prepared for the next video coming soon. Peace.